Welcome to NYNJPA Weather, your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. This morning certainly started off on the wet note with a strong upper-level disturbance that has been rapidly weakening over much of central Pennsylvania and central New York, moving through the Northern Mid-Atlantic. And as a result, we had a band of moderate to very heavy rain. Rainfall rates ranged anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to over a 1/2 an inch per hour. Especially in those yellow and orange sections that basically moved from Philadelphia through New York City and is now exiting through Connecticut and eastern Long Island as of 9:30 a.m. So this heavy rain will continue to move northeast, and then clearing skies can be expected for the rest of the afternoon for much of the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. So the worst impacts are pretty much done. However, there still will be a threat of a few scattered showers until we hit the noon hour. Thereafter, skies start to clear and temperatures start to warm up into the 50s. Now here's the water vapor satellite picture, and you can see our strong disturbance lifting to the northeast. Behind this disturbance, there's still plenty of mid-level moisture, so I think that the cloud cover will be a little bit slow to clear, but I'm not expecting any more precipitation after this disturbance lifts north and east. Behind this disturbance, well, we certainly warm up. By tomorrow evening, high pressure that will be centered off the southeast coast will be in full control throughout the northern mid-Atlantic, and that's going to produce a rather impressive southwesterly flow from the Gulf of Mexico right into the New York City metropolitan area, and that means temperatures are going to warm up in a big way. Now for tomorrow, well, temperatures aren't going to be as warm as what we'll see on Friday, but that's because we're still warming up the atmosphere. Temperatures will be above normal though in the upper 50s to mid 60s. As you can see at 850 millibars, there's plenty of warm air on the way, and that warm air will be surging into the northern mid-Atlantic by Friday morning. What does that mean? Well, that means by Friday afternoon, a very strong southwesterly flow will be in place over the northern mid-Atlantic, and that's going to allow temperatures to rise into the 60s over the interior, and yes, lower to possibly even mid 70s over the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan area. Now, I think the warmest conditions are going to be in places like central New Jersey, southwest New Jersey, right around the Philadelphia metropolitan area. Those locations that typically warm up significantly in this type of southwesterly pattern. Notice though by Friday evening we have a weak cold front moving through. Now I'm not expecting much out of this cold front, perhaps a few scattered showers Friday night into early Saturday morning. And the reason why can be seen at 500 millibars. This pattern at 500 millibars clearly shows that the trough on Friday night is not going to be able to dig south into the northern mid-Atlantic. In fact, clearly what we see is that the majority of the lifting and forcing with this cold front will be focused towards northern New England and towards the Canadian Maritimes. And what that basically means is that the cold air associated with this cold front is not going to move very far south. So we'll see a minor air mass change where instead of temperatures being well above normal in the 70s, they'll end up throughout this weekend into the 50s and 60s for highs, which is slightly above normal, but nothing that would create any records or anything of that nature. But also notice in this pattern that we still have our ridge in place over the Gulf Coast, and we have a very progressive pattern over much of the northern plains, which means that any disturbance that moves through will be weak and will be fast moving. And as we can see for this weekend, for Saturday and Sunday, high pressure will be in full control with dry conditions and temperatures again averaging near normal. Expect a few scattered clouds, and there could be an isolated shower on Saturday morning with the cold front exiting, but overall high pressure is going to be in control throughout this entire weekend all the way into Monday afternoon. However, by Monday night, we'll have a warm front move through the northern mid-Atlantic, and that warm front is going to be very important for the beginning of next week. This warm front will produce only a few scattered showers, but the most important aspect with this warm front is that it's going to shift winds to the southwest. Why is that important? Well, that shift in the wind is going to transport all this warm air that's sitting over the Tennessee River Valley and Mississippi River Valley into the northern mid-Atlantic. Now, I think right now the models are underplaying the extent of the warm air and the intensity of the warm air that will move into the northern mid-Atlantic. I expect by Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday that weather conditions will be very similar to what we're going to see on Friday. which basically widespread 60s and a few locations breaking 70 degrees for a high. In short, Tuesday and Wednesday look to be very nice days. Here's our 500 millibar pattern on Monday evening, and notice we have a very large impressive ridge over much of the East Coast. Now keep an eye on all of these disturbances moving through the West Coast and over the Pacific. These disturbances again are very progressive and they're going to move through the United States very quickly. However, note a few interesting aspects here. One, our polar vortex is well to the north towards Greenland. There is very little support for any type of cold air mass moving into the northern mid-Atlantic at all. In fact, we get very warm with this disturbance moving towards the St. Lawrence River Valley. There is no blocking in the Atlantic, no blocking in the Pacific. We're dealing with a warm, progressive pattern with every other day a chance of some rain, but overall warm and pleasant conditions. And as you can see at 850 millibars, look at all this warm air. We're talking over 10 degrees Celsius at 850 millibars. That produces temperatures in the upper 60s to low 70s, possibly even mid 70s for highs on Tuesday afternoon and likely on Wednesday afternoon ahead of the advancing cold front. Notice all the cold air is locked up in Canada and the northern mid-Atlantic is very warm. At the surface on Tuesday evening, you can see our cold fronts well to the west over the Ohio Valley back through the eastern Great Lakes. I expect showers and thunderstorms to develop along this cold front, but they'll stay way to the west of the northern Mid-Atlantic. I expect dry conditions on Tuesday. Wednesday evening could see a bit of rain move in. I'm holding off the rain until Wednesday afternoon and evening for the most part, as I think that this cold front is going to be very slow moving because of the orientation of the upper level pattern. But we are clearly looking at a start of next week that is very warm and rather pleasant with a chance of rain by Wednesday night. Thank you for visiting NYNJPA Weather as your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Have an excellent day.